All right, today we're diving into a big forecast from Bank of America, all about the semiconductor industry, looking ahead to 2026. And their take? It's summed up in this great phrase: choppy, still cheerful. It's all being driven by that relentless engine we call AI. So, what does that actually mean, choppy but cheerful? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. And look, we have to tackle the biggest question right off the bat, the one hanging over this whole thing. We're seeing this absolutely explosive growth, right? Record valuations, a real tech revolution. But is it a sustainable gold rush? Or are we just watching another tech bubble inflate, ready to pop? The report we're digging into today has some really fascinating answers. Okay, so here's the game plan. We'll start with the big picture forecast. Then we'll zoom in on the star of the show, AI chips. We'll also talk about the unsung heroes of this whole revolution. From there, we'll hit the big fear head on. Is this a bubble? And finally, we'll take a peek at what's coming next. All right. First up, the big picture. Let's look at the headline numbers. What's the overall semiconductor market looking like as we head towards 2026? Well, the short answer is big and getting a whole lot bigger. So here it is, the key number. Bank of America is forecasting a massive, 29 to 30% growth in total semiconductor sales in 2026? Now, that's a huge number on its own, but here's why it really matters. That kind of growth puts the entire industry on a clear path to hit its first ever trillion-dollar sales year. I mean, think about that. $1 trillion. That is a monumental milestone. So what in the world is driving this incredible surge? Yeah, no surprise here, right? The main engine powering this whole gold rush is AI. And we're not just talking about any old chips. These are the highly specialized processors that make things like large language models possible. They are, without a doubt, the star players of this story. And their growth, it is just staggering. While the overall market is humming along at around 30%, the AI chip sector specifically is forecast to grow by over 50% year over year. And this isn't just hype. This is being fueled by real, concrete demand from a few key places: the massive build-out of data centers, enterprises adopting AI faster than ever, and this fierce race between cloud giants and even entire countries to build the most powerful AI models. Okay, so everybody knows about the big names designing the AI chips, right? They're the gold miners. But, in any gold rush, some of the smartest money isn't made by digging for gold. It's made by selling the shovels. And in the world of semiconductors, those shovels are made by the semi-cap equipment companies. The report actually calls them the unsung heroes of the revolution. And honestly, I think that's the perfect way to put it. These are the companies that build the incredibly complex machinery, the stuff we call wafer fab equipment, or WFE, that physically manufactures the chips. Without them, there is no AI revolution, period. So the logic is simple, right? If demand for chips is booming, then the demand for the machines that make the chips has to be booming too. And this chart just illustrates that point perfectly. Just look at the spending forecast for this equipment. It's not some short-term spike. It's a steady, powerful climb. We're going from nearly $120 billion in 2025 to a projected $150 billion by 2027. What this tells us is that the industry is making these huge, long-term, foundational investments. They're expecting this demand to last for years to come. But, and this is important, it's crucial to understand that this AI boom isn't lifting all boats equally. It's really a tale of two sectors. On one side, you've got the AI sector with that explosive 50+% growth. But on the other side, you have sectors like analog semiconductors. These are the chips used in basically everything, from cars to industrial machinery. And here, the report points to an unconvincing turnaround, blaming softer demand and just kind of lukewarm economic conditions. So what we're really seeing is a market with one clear superstar and a supporting cast that's having a much tougher time. And that brings us right back to the big fear, doesn't it? When you see that kind of crazy growth in just one specific area, investors, they get nervous, and rightly so. They've seen this movie before. So let's just address it head on. Is this just another bubble waiting to burst? This is the question that I'm sure keeps a lot of skeptical investors up at night. Is this just the dot-com bubble 2.0? Aren't we just repeating the same mistakes from back then, where tons of money was poured into infrastructure that, well, it just went unused, leading to a historic crash? The report argues pretty convincingly, actually, that no, we are not. So why is this time different? The analysis lays out 4 really key reasons. First, there's no dark compute. Remember in the dot-com era, companies laid all this dark fiber, internet cables that were literally never lit up? Today's equivalent would be data centers full of idle AI chips, but that's just not happening. Utilization is incredibly high. Second, check out the finances. This whole build-out is being paid for by the massive cash flows of tech giants, not by mountains of debt. Third, the Fed. The interest rate environment is totally different. And finally, valuations. I mean, yes, they're high, but the market leader, NVDA, is trading at around 18 times its projected 2027 earnings. For comparison, the dot-com darlings back then were trading at over 100 times their earnings. It's a completely different universe of speculation. And there's one more really crucial point. This AI build-out has real-world physical limits. You can't just snap your fingers and build infinite data centers. They need immense amounts of power, actual physical space, and tons of water for cooling. These practical constraints act like a natural brake on the system, which helps prevent that kind of extreme speculative overbuilding that really defined the dot-com bubble. Okay, so if it's not a bubble, then what is it? Well, the report paints a picture of a massive, long-term market opportunity that is really just getting started. So let's take a look at the sheer scale of this prize. Just look at this chart. The market for AI data center systems, it's projected to grow from around $243 billion in 2025 to over, get this, $1.2 trillion by 2030. That is a five-fold increase in just 5 years. The scale is almost hard to wrap your head around, but it really shows you the magnitude of the technological shift we are living through right now. So where is all that trillion-plus dollars, what the industry calls the total addressable market, or TAM, where is it actually going to be spent? This breaks it down for us. The overwhelming majority, about 80%, is going to AI servers. And what's really critical here is that server category includes the most important part, the AI accelerators and GPUs that are the real heart of these systems. Then you've got another 15% going to high-speed networking to connect it all, and the last 5% going to storage. So with all that in mind, the report gives us its top 6 for 2026, which is kind of like a treasure map for this market. It includes the brains of the operation, compute leaders like NVIDIA and Broadcom. Then you've got the unsung hero, shovel sellers, semi-cap equipment makers, Lam Research, and KLA Corp. It also includes a more stable player in the broader market, Analog Devices, and finally, a company that makes the actual blueprints for the chips, Cadence, which is a leader in what's called EDA software. It's a really fascinating look at the key players all across the entire ecosystem. And all of this really brings us to our final thought. With a market this massive on the horizon, over $1 trillion, the evidence suggests the question isn't if this AI revolution is happening anymore. The real question now is, who are the ones that are going to build it? Who's going to lay the foundation, sell the shovels, and ultimately build this new world? Now that is the multi-trillion-dollar question to watch.